Hi y'all, welcome back to another video. And as you guys may or may not know, I'm finally back from Paris and settled down now. I finally got the time to sit down and film a video with y'all, so let's start. For the people that were curious about how I got into the Prada SS24 sort of preview show or sort of like pre-order show, it's this show. I'll put the flyer here. I was invited and they sent me an email and was just like, oh, are you interested in going to sort of this Prada event? And I was like, hell yeah. And since my nephew and my sister is also living there, I figured I'd pay them a visit as well as, see the new Prada show. I think my honest opinions on it is there were three, I think, key items that I found really, really cool. It was mainly the trench coat as well as the work jacket. I think those two were for sure my clear top picks. As you guys may or may not have known, I had a pickup waiting for me in Paris and I finally got to pick it up. So this video is sort of my little unboxing for you guys. Without further ado, let me show the item. The bag is massive, so ja-jam! As you can see, the big Prada bag, and inside of course is the item I caught from Prada. So let's take it out real quick. And also, actually, a big gripe I have with flying on planes, at least like within Europe, is that when you buy like the sort of cheaper tickets with only like hand carry luggage, you can't really fit this anywhere. So getting this back was a bit of a pain in the ass, but we figured something out, and now we're back. So, ta-da! Here's the Prada box. It's really pretty. Of course, I really like this blue they use here, but it's just a box. So I think before we delve into the unboxing process, I should probably talk about how or why I purchased this item and like what led to it. So to give you guys context, this bag I purchased is from Prada's SS24 collection, and there's a whole backstory on how I came to wanting this bag and discovering it in the first place. And to start off with, I actually saw Jungkook wear this backpack. So I saw this bag like either right before it was shown on the runway or like right after. It was like one of the two, but Jungkook basically had an early version of it which he was showing in the airport fit. I'll just put a pic here. And I thought it was so cool. It was like this Prada nylon backpack. And I just thought the silhouettes was really unique and different from, what Prada normally releases. And when I come to find out that it's from their SS24 called the Fluid Form, which in hindsight kind of makes sense now that I know it's from Fluid Form, which is why the silhouette was like so unique. I'm not too familiar with Fluid Form, but I think it's like an architecture term. And I think, just in general, I think the concept is very cool. To give you guys a little bit of information, I think Fluid Form, the collection, is a collaboration between, of course, Musha and Raf, and they worked on this together. And I think what makes it unique is, of course, first, if you look at the show in general, you can see like slime oozing out from the top and the bottom, and it just gave off like very alien, very like sort of sci-fi feels, and I thought that was really, really unique and very unlike Prada to do something like that, but also like, I don't know, I just appreciated them like trying to innovate their runway, and so that already got my attention. And then of course you just look at the silhouettes. Like the silhouettes are so sort of not abstract, but like different from what Prada normally does, and that's sort of what drew me towards this new collection. To be honest, when I was watching the show, I really didn't have this bag that I'm holding in mind. The two bags I had in mind were the shoulder bag in nylon and the backpack in nylon, both of which were like super duper cool. And of course, when I watched the show, I didn't have any expectations of sort of buying the bag because, seeing it from the show and having it in person is a totally different story. And so I wasn't too sold on it yet after watching the show and seeing Jungkook have it, but that's sort of what built my interest on it. Now, fast forward a few months, I think in Hong Kong, there was this sort of pop-up store in Harbor City. It was called Reporter. It's a collaboration with Prada and like I think a series of photographers, and they showcase some items that sort of journalists or their photographers use in their day-to-day lives, like for example a camera bag or big backpacks to store all of their papers and camera gear. And so when I went to that pop-up, I just saw these set of bags, like of course the backpack and the shoulder bag, and I was sold. Like at that time, when I held the nylon backpack and the nylon shoulder bag, I was just like, oh my god, this is so cool. It's very like chic, but also very like work and everyday oriented, because at the end of the day, this is meant for sort of journalists and like essentially a camera bag, right? And so I think back then I was trying to try on some Bottega pieces, and of course we saw the pop-up and I had to sort of go inside and see what the backpack looks like. And little did I know, it looked so good, and I wanted it, and I was sold until I saw the price. The Prada backpack was super not worth it. I believe, hold on. So the SS24 nylon Prada backpack was 2,900 euros, which is fucking insane. Just like, there's a part of me, like I understand that it's like a two-use bag, you can shoulder bag it or backpack it, but like 2,900 euro for a backpack was crazy. And of course I was thinking about getting it in like Japan and sort of getting my tax return. But then like I just thought about it, and just like 2,900 just really isn't like realistic for a backpack that I plan to use for my everyday life. Because like I would baby it too much for me to like really get the use out of it. And I know from all the past backpacks I've owned, like my Nike backpacks and also like other backpacks in general, I've completely destroyed them. There's like holes in them, there's like sort of distressing on it, and I just couldn't do that with like a $3,000 backpack. So it was indeed like a pretty major turnoff, especially in the sense that I would buy a backpack that I would baby, and that's just not really why I buy my backpacks. So that's why sort of the rucksack or the backpack became out of the question for me. So then afterwards, now I was still of course like a little bit like oh, maybe I'll make it work out. I'll go to Tokyo and I'll get the tax return, and it'll not be as bad, but it was still like really bad, honestly. And so I texted my SA, so shout out Stephanie, you made this purchase happen, so shout out. But like I texted the SA and she reported the price, and I was just like, oh god, this is bad. Like, because I knew I was going to Germany for exchange, so I assumed like before I leave I could get like the bag and also tax return it. So that was like sort of my last strand of hope for copying. And then she told me, oh, this collection is actually rather limited. Only a few pieces are available in each boutique, like the nylon pieces. And so I was like, oh, so they're rare. Should I grab it now? Because like FOMO is kind of hitting in, you know? And I think I wasn't completely sold because again, 3,000 euro backpack is not really my type of deal. And some time passes, like a few months pass, and I was just like, okay, I don't think I'll be able to cop, and I'm about to go to Paris like for my exchange. So I'm just like, I guess I won't cop. And then I looked at the shoulder bags, and I was like, oh, the shoulder bag prices are not bad in nylon. And I was like, oh, this is actually not half bad. But of course, in hindsight, paying that much for a nylon bag is crazy. But of course, you are paying for Prada, so it is the Prada premium tax, and you can't really avoid it. So it is what it is. But I saw the nylon shoulder bag, and I was just like, wow, it's really pretty nice. But I don't know why, I just found the nylon one a little bit off-putting. There was just something about it that I didn't like. I think it's the nylon. In hindsight, I know it's the nylon aspect of it, but back then I wasn't too sure. There was just something that sort of made the backpack that much better. And if I were to spend that much money anyways, I figured getting the Prada backpack would be better worth. And so I saw this nylon bag, and I was just like, it's not bad, but I think if something were to change, it would look so much better. And then I was scrolling on this Chinese social media platform called Red, and there was this lady holding a leather version of it, like a wrinkled, like laminated leather. I don't know what it's called, like a wrinkled wax leather or something along those lines. I don't know what it's called. It's just called leather on the website. But essentially, I saw this leather bag on this lady, and she was just like holding it, and I was like, oh my god, this is what it was missing. It just needed to be leather, and the bag would look so good. And so I sort of texted my essay again. I was like, how much is this joint? And then she said it's like 2,600 euro. And I was like, oh, so I'm getting leather on a bag and it's gonna be cheaper than the nylon backpack. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm sold. And of course, I wasn't too entirely sure, because keep in mind, this is before I left for my exchange trip. So I haven't seen the leather piece in person yet. So I don't know why the camera bugged out, but I haven't seen the pieces yet. So I wasn't too sure on like, if I really did like it. And so fast forward, I'm now in Paris. I see the backpack and the shoulder bag both in nylon, and I'm like, yeah, these are, you know, when I held them back then in the journalist show, it was a lot cooler, and now that I see them in Paris, they're a lot more underwhelming for some reason. And so that kind of just made me not want them. And so I was just like, okay, so I'm clinging onto the last little bit of hope that I'll cop the leather version. And I text my SA, Stephanie. I was like, hey, do you have the leather one? And she goes, no. This was apparently a very rare piece that at that time there was only like 3 in this market. And in my memory, there was 2 in Germany and 1 in Dubai. And that was it in the whole world. None in Shanghai, none in Japan, none nowhere. So I was just like, oh shit. And keep in mind, this was the piece they used in SS24, like with the runway. And so I was just like, usually they don't restock the runway pieces. At least that's what I was told from Prada team. And so I was just like, oh shit, it's now or never. We must get this bag in hand. Out comes this long ass quest of locating this one of 3 copies of this bag left in the market. And it was so stressful. Every day I was like texting my SA like, oh, can we request it from like other stores? And she was like, yes, we can. But it's usually a hit or miss. Sometimes they don't hit us back, and sometimes they do. We just don't know. And so I was like, please. And so she writes, I think the Berlin store an email, no response, ghosts us. And so we emailed the Berlin store as well and hope for response, and then no response. A few days passed by, and I was just like, fuck, I might not get the bag. Like the 2 European stores have ghosted us, so we're fucked. And then a few days passed, and then I asked my SA again, and apparently the 2 items from Germany are just now gone. Like the stock just said none are available in Germany. So I was just like, fuck, we've been screwed. Like they've sold in the last few days or something along those lines. And of course I was really sad. And then she scrolls through, and then she sees, oh, both bags have been relocated to Milan. So now there's 2 in Milan and 1 in Dubai. And so I'm like, okay, we still have a chance. We're still in the game, boys. And keep in mind, like as this whole process was taking place, this sort of quest sort of skyrocketed my want for this bag. And so with every day passing, I've wanted this bag more, and I was looking at pics. I was like texting my girlfriend about this bag. I was talking to my sister and my dad about this bag. I was just like, oh my god, it's so pretty, I must have it. And yeah, a few days passed by more, and then the Milan team finally responds to us, the first team that responded, and they were like, sure, we'll send it over. And so they send it over to Paris, and sort of the Stephanie, that my Prada SA, receives it, and she's like, we have it in stock now. And then I pay for the bag, and it was still in Paris, because keep in mind, by then I was already at Germany for my exchange. So a month sort of passes by, and I went to Paris to attend the Prada show, which I was invited to, and also picked up my Grail bag. That this whole long like quest almost to obtain this have made me appreciate this bag so much more. And it's just like such a pretty bag. And my one complaint, like I still love this bag like a lot. And no one can tell me otherwise. I just think it's super pretty. But the one gripe I have is that, why did they have to restock? Like my issue is not the fact that this bag is now more common. That was never the issue, because you just kind of, it comes with the territory. It's not a one-of-one type deal. But my one gripe is the fact that I go through all these hoops. I go through this grand quest of like all throughout Europe, like to obtain this bag. And then all of a sudden they tell me, oh yeah, you can pick this up in like the Prada store in Lafayette. And I'm just there like, so I went through all of that. And by the end of the journey, you tell me I can pick it up anywhere. Like it doesn't feel good. Like you go through all of this and for it to be now like easily accessible. Like it's not the fact that it's easily accessible that's the issue. It's the fact that we went through all that trouble and all those worries for this bag, and just to find out that it could have all been avoided if I waited like a month. It doesn't feel great. But nonetheless, I still love this bag super duper much. So yeah, I think it's finally about time I show you guys. So keep in mind, it was packaged a lot nicer. I had to like unfold the boxes and everything to take it back. So the packaging is definitely not as nice as before, but keep in mind it was super nice. They gave me like ribbons on the bag and everything, but like, it doesn't matter. It's not the packaging I'm after, it's the bag. And keep in mind, my essay, Stephanie, she wrote this little note. Very nice of her, very appreciative. One second, I forgot what it translated to. I need to Google Translate it. Pleasure seeing you, look forward to meeting you again. Something along those lines. But she left her card here, so like, essentially just says Stephanie and then client advisor at Prada at La Summer 10. So you guys already know this, so I guess I've blue-balled you guys enough. It's time to hold the big boy out. Oh my god, it's the prettiest thing I've ever seen. Of course, I've already used it in Paris, but you know, the point still stands. It's the greatest Prada bag of all time, bar none. Notice like of course I'll show you guys in detail, but see like the traditional Prada triangle. It's a little more hidden when the bag sort of flaps down. You don't really see it too much, but of course there's Prada hardware here. You flick that open, you know, it is what it is, and there's a really nice zipper. And then inside, of course, like the lining. If you notice carefully, the lining here has like Prada's like sort of motif like on there. And then of course the two front pockets. So this bag is actually very geometric, which is like very unlike Prada's traditional bags. And these two front pockets here, you can put surprisingly a lot of stuff. Usually what I put in there are like headphones and then like maybe like a hand cream or something and tissues. And that's what I put there. And then of course the big opening of the bag. This bad boy just stores so much stuff and it's so pretty, just like on body. Hold on. This is the prettiest Prada piece, bar none. It's just straight up the prettiest. And I love it. Incredible. Like I love this sort of like wrinkled leather look, this waxed, like shiny, glossy look. A lot of people don't like it, but I kind of liked it. And also to put into context, there was actually another bag I was contemplating. It wasn't always Prada. This was actually a 2-horse race. And beyond Prada, I was actually looking at La Mer and their gear bag. And their gear bag, turns out, is super limited apparently. It's sold out all over Paris. Like they don't even know when it's coming back in stock. Like none of it exists. And I was just like, it doesn't exist. I guess I won't cop. They can't even tell me when it'll restock. And the funny thing, the croissant, the more like sort of mainstream variant of the bag, you can cop it anywhere. Just like all of the colors you can imagine, the whole rainbow was just available in store. And I was like, how about a gear bag? And they're like, we have none of those. And we don't know when they're coming back. So, you know, don't, you know, keep your expectations low. And I was just like, oh, guess I can't cop that. And yeah, so that's why I didn't cop it. Also, I read a lot of reviews about that bag being heavy as hell and like rigid. Like it felt like if you're my friends from Hong Kong, you guys know like the Food Panda or like the Uber Eats delivery, like the drivers have those backpacks. Feels exactly like that. So honestly, after hearing those stories and also just the fact that they can't even tell me when it's restocking, I was just like, yeah, the Prada one's better. And also it just looks better. It's light, feels very premium. In general, I just think it's such a pretty bag. It makes me feel like a journalist. It's so pretty, just in general. And that's why I really do love this bag. And let me give you guys some, just look at, appreciate like the hardware is, the hardware and just like the enameled Prada triangle. This bag in general is so pretty. And of course the zip. And then of course you can put so many things inside. It's a perfect day-to-day daily commute. Fits an iPad Pro just fine. And so of course if you wanted to go to school with this, you could, but this is mainly going to be my travel bag. Like when I go out, I'll wear this, but when I go to school, I'll wear something else because I like beating up my school bags and I don't want to beat this up. But yeah, very beautiful bag, honestly. I'm still in awe with just purely the aesthetic value of this bag. And peep the leather, I guess. It's like wrinkled and very, very glossy leather. I just feel like this is the perfect bag. There's like a little hanger here to put your keychains and stuff like that. So you know I'm gonna put like a kuromi or something like that here later when I go to Japan and buy more charms. But this bag is so undeniably, it is so pretty, and I love it. The thing I like about it is it's so different from the stuff they've had in the past, and I think this is definitely Wrath and Yusha working their magic. 100%, like this whole sort of fluid form and like this I think the architectural concept makes the bag like very alien-like and unique, and that's why I feel like they haven't done anything like this, and I don't think they'll do anything like this again. So that's sort of why. It reminisces the traditional sort of journalist bag, camera bag silhouette, but it like sort of reiterates itself with like weird geometric pockets, and that's what sort of sells me on sort of this bag. And it is of course my favorite bag of all time, and probably the title of this video is buying my grill bag, so this is the grill bag. Alright, now that the Prada cops are done, let's talk about some other stuff, you know? There's other cops I had, and I figured I'd show you guys. Boom! I don't know if you guys know what this is. If you guys like baseball, you guys will know. But like, this is from the Nippon Ham Fighters, which is a baseball team located in Hokkaido. And what you guys should know is I copped this in a vintage store in Murray. And what's special about this actually is it's the jersey of a very well-known Japanese baseball player. You guys might have heard of his name. It's Shohei Ohtani, just, you know, the best baseball player in the world. And this is his jersey from his first team back in Japan, so the Nippon Ham Fighters in 2016. And so what's special about this jersey is I think this year they went all the way and won the NPB championship. So what makes this so special is this is one of Ohtani's years where he won the championship actually in Japan. And it's just a very, very nice color. It fits, it's a one size fits all, so it fits me. And I tried it on in the store and it wasn't too expensive. Funny thing is, the person in the vintage store was really, really nice. Originally, there were 2 of these jerseys, which I was just like, how is this here? And so I asked, like, you know, hey, I want this jersey, but there's one that says 20 and one that says 25 euros. And I was just like, why is there 2 prices? And they're like, oh, so we got 2 shipments from Japan, and one came first, so we priced that one at 25, and then another came in, so we priced it at 20. But you know, sometimes these things happen. But no worries, I'll make this one 20 euros as well. So I just picked the one that looks sort of slightly more new, and boom, here comes my Shohei Ohtani Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters jersey. And I love it. This is one of the jerseys I was actually looking for in Japan, but never got the chance to sort of find the one I liked. And now I finally got one. So super duper exciting and happy that I got a baseball jersey that I've always wanted but never found. So, you know, it's kind of odd that I couldn't find this in Tokyo or Osaka, but I find it in Paris now, which is like super profound, and I just don't know. But shout out to you from that vintage store. Thank you, man. Next item I kept inside like a garment bag because the way it was shipped to me, I actually was crazy. They just put it in a plastic bag, and I was just like, what? Like, how can you do this to this caliber of memorabilia? Ran Takahashi plays in Italy, so he's in the Italian volleyball league, and he's part of Vero Volleyball. So to put a sort of time frame into this, they were heading into the semifinals. The day I bought this, they just won the semifinals, and so I was just like, yes, Ran, he made it to finals. I'm like, yeah. And keep in mind, it's like the first time any Japanese person has gotten into the Italian league finals. And so this was like a big milestone for Ren. Since volleyball isn't too popular in Hong Kong, I figured getting his memorabilia in general would be hard in Hong Kong. This was actually like relatively hard to, this was like the last size in stock, and it was just conveniently my size. So I managed to secure a Vero Volley Ran Takahashi jersey. And what makes this one so special is, hold up. It's signed by Ran himself. Yup, can't believe I actually got my hand on a signed Ran Takahashi memorabilia. This is crazy. Shout out to Vero Volleyball for making this sort of available for me to purchase. But I did spend my hard-earned money for this, and you guys did charge like 25 euro for shipping, so fuck you. And nonetheless, I do really, really like it. And I'm gonna frame this when I get back to Hong Kong, so that's why I kept it in a garment bag to prevent it from sort of, you know, fading or scratching or anything. Of course, it's the Michelin jacket. I've actually worn this quite a lot. On the day it was actually snowing, I wore this and it kept me super warm, but there's not much to say. It's of course by the Lord Demna himself. This is his ski collection, and it's a pretty jacket. It's a bit over the top. I prefer like, it's really poofy. It makes me feel like the Michelin man, but in a cool way. I don't really know how to put it, but it's cool. Like, I can't really, you know, talk much about it. It's of course way overpriced. And the story behind this is actually my friend's. He lent it to me for, you know, personal reasons. He lent it to me to wear for my exchange trip, and I'm very happy about it. You know, it's actually super duper heavy. And the thing is, there's actually no feathers here. This is apparently like new 3M technology. So it's very weather resistant. It's like waterproof. It's like, of course, snowproof because it's a puffer. And just like very weather resistant jacket. Crazy new tech from 3M. And I was really excited to like sort of go visit like snowy Alps or like mountains with this. But, you know, it is heading into summer. So I guess that can wait for another opportunity. But yeah. This is the Michelin jacket. You know, there's not really much to say about it, aside from the fact that this technically isn't mine, but you know, it's a cool jacket. Jesus Christ, that jacket weighed like a brick. But that sort of concludes my video for today. Thank you guys so much for sort of watching this kind of long rant-ish video. And I'm really thankful that, you know, you guys give me so much love and, you know, subscribe and like and leave your comments. I do really like responding to them. And so, yeah, thank you guys so much for sort of being on this little European journey with me. And I hope to show you guys more cops and sort of my life here. And yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!